poorly maintained machine is hazardous. Doing a regular maintenance job of daily check will keep the machine in safe running condition and reduce unwanted breakdown. Maintenance service should be carried out either by hourly intervals or calendar intervals, whichever occurs first. Prepare the machine for daily check and walk around. Park the machine on a solid ground level. Stop the machine. Remove the ignition key. Remove the safety belt. Engage the articulation lock. Choke the drum and rear wheels with a wooden block. If required, disconnect the battery connection while doing daily check of the machine to avoid accidental operation of the engine. It is vital to check certain machine conditions and components daily to ensure that the machine can be operated safely and efficiently. Start identifying the components to be checked. To start, daily check the hydraulic level. Look at the fluid level in the side tube. The level should be between the two marks on the tube. If the fluid is cloudy, it means that water or air has entered the system, which can damage the hydraulic pump. Visually check the condition of the tire and its fasteners. Also, check the rear axle hub for any leakage. Check for loose components around articulation joints and visually check for leakage and damage on the hydraulic clamp. Check the fasteners on the drum and shot pad. Check the fasteners of the scrapers. A gap of 16 mm should be maintained between the drum and the scraper. To check the gap between the drum and the scraper, a 14 mm or 15 mm thick rod can be used. During the daily inspection, check for any dust accumulation on the drum breather. Check for any damage or oil leakage. Check the coolant level. Check under the machine for any signs of oil leakage on the machine and on the floor where the machine has been parked. Now the daily check around is complete. Before operating the machine, do not forget to disengage the articulation lock. Daily checking. Engage the articulation lock. Choke the drum and rear wheels with a wooden block. For a daily check, open the rear bonnet. Visually check for loose fittings, oil leakage, wire short circuit, dust accumulation and cleanliness. Check the engine oil level by removing the dipstick. Wipe the dipstick and insert again. Check the oil level. It should be between the two marks. Add oil if necessary and use only the JCB recommended engine oil. Make sure that the dipstick is secure. The diesel fuel level can be checked from the gauge provided on the instrument cluster. Insert the ignition switch and switch it on. The fuel gauge will show the level. If necessary, fuel can be filled through the filler cap. At the end of the day, fill the tank with the correct type of fuel. This will prevent overnight condensation development in the fuel tank. Check the hydraulic oil level. Look at the fuel level in the side tube. The level should be between the two marks on the tube. If required, add JCB recommended hydraulic oil to the tank through the filler cap. After filling, again check the hydraulic oil level. Water separator. The water separator should be drained at least every 50 hours, but more often if necessary. Drain off the water by turning the tap. To drain the water, first check the red float inside the water separator. If it reaches the red line, water should be drained immediately, otherwise it can be drained as and when required. After draining the water, make sure that the tap is turned off and secure. Coolant level. Check the level of coolant. The coolant should be between the minimum and maximum mark. If necessary, add coolant by opening the radiator cap. Always use JCB premix coolant only. Make sure that the cap is tightly fitted and secure. Check fan belt. Change the drive belt if there are cuts, tears, loose fabric, grease, oil, or if it's twisted. The fan is automatically adjusted by a tension pulley. Disengage the articulation lock. Checking the instrument and controls. Insert the ignition key and switch on the ignition switch. The instrument and indicator lights are clubbed together on an instrument panel. Fuel gauge. Temperature gauge. Hour meter. To check the accelerator lever and engine RPM, First, start the engine. The engine will start on ideal RPM. To increase the RPM, lift the lock knob and push the accelerator lever in the forward direction. To reduce the engine RPM, first lift the lock knob and pull the accelerator lever in the reverse direction. Stop the engine by turning the ignition key. Emergency switch. Before the start of each work shift, especially before driving on a gradient, check that all systems, including the engine, power down when the emergency switch is depressed. Rotate the switch button to release the switch. Forward-reverse lever. Check the proper functioning of the lever. Check the functioning of all the electrical switches. Front headlight, rear working light, hazard switch, horn switch, headlight high-low switch, direction indicator switch. Travel speed selector. Move the selector to the left side for travel speed. Move the selector to the right side to select the working speed. High frequency vibration switch. Low frequency vibration switch. Parking brake switch. Maintenance section. Park the machine on a solid ground level. Stop the machine. Remove the ignition key. Remove the safety belt. Engage the articulation lock. Choke the drum and rear wheels with a wooden block. Engine oil filter. To change the engine oil filter, unscrew the oil filter from the filter head and replace it with a new one. Smear the seal of the new filter canister with clean oil. Normally, the part number of the filter is printed on the filter itself. Check the engine oil level by removing the dipstick. Wipe the dipstick and insert again. Check the oil level. It should be between the two marks. Add oil if necessary and use only JCB recommended engine oil. Make sure that the dipstick is secure. A fuel filter is fitted on the engine. Impurities can be removed through the tap provided at the bottom of the filter. Pressure checking points. Pressure points for high and low vibration. Pressure point for charge pump pressure. Pressure point for brake release solenoid. Air filter, cleaning the outer element. Stop the engine and remove the starter key. Open the engine cover. Identify the air filter. Remove the cover. Remove the outer element. Take care not to tap or knock the element. Clean the canister from inside and its cover. Clean the outer element with the help of low air pressure. Check for cracks using a bulb. Insert the outer element into the canister. Check if the seal is fully seated. Fit cover with hose at the bottom. Push the cover firmly into the position and make sure it is secured. The outer element must be cleaned or renewed immediately if the warning light on the instrument panel illuminates. Changing the outer element and inner element. Remove the cover. Remove outer element. Take care not to tap or knock on the element. Remove the inner element. Clean the canister inside and the cover. Carefully insert the new element into the canister. Make sure that it sits correctly. Insert a new outer element into the canister. Check if the seal is fully seated. Fit cover with the hose at the bottom. Press the cover firmly into position and make sure it is secured. Inspect the scavenging hose for cuts, nicks and check if the rubber is perished. Renew if necessary. Battery. Remove the battery cable if required. Check the battery condition, whether it is charged or the electrolyte level is low. See the condition through indicator. Green means fully charged. White means no battery charging is required. Red indication means add distilled water. Check the electrolyte level in each cell and top up with distilled water or ionized water. Water separator. The water separator should be drained at least every 50 hours, but more often if necessary. Drain off the water by turning the tap. To drain the water, first check the red float inside the water separator. If it reaches the red line, water should be drained immediately. Otherwise, it can be drained as and when required. After draining the water, make sure that the tap is turned off and secure. Pre-fuel filter. Release locking ring and remove the filter. Fit a new element and secure in position with locking ring. Fit the drain pipe and make sure that the electrical connector is correctly fitted. Ensure that the seal is seated correctly before refitting the new filter. Knock the locking ring. Hydraulic filter. Using a special tool, loosen the union nut. Remove the filter bowl and dispose of the filter element. Fit a new element inside the bowl and assemble the filter. Tighten the union nut. The hydraulic filter should be replaced immediately if the warning light on the instrument panel illuminates. Fan belt. Change the driver belt if there are cuts, tears, loose fabric, grease, oil, or if it's twisted. A fan can be automatically adjusted by a tension pulley. Coolant level. Check the level of coolant. The coolant should be between minimum and maximum mark. If necessary, add coolant by opening the radiator cap. Always use JCB premix coolant only. Make sure that the cap is tightly fitted and secure. Rear axle. To check the rear axle oil or to refill, remove this plug. The oil must reach the lower edge of the board for the plug. Add oil if necessary. To change or drain oil, remove this plug. Place suitable container under the drain plug to catch the oil. Remove the drain plug and check the seal of the plug and replace if necessary. Fit the drain plug to check the rear axle hub oil level. To check or refill the rear axle hub oil, position the drain plug as shown. Remove the plug. The oil must reach the lower edge of the bore of the plug. Add oil through this plug if necessary. To drain the rear axle hub, position the drain plug as shown. Place a suitable container under the plug to catch the oil. Remove the plug and drain the oil. Position the drain plug to fill oil position as shown. Fill the axle with clean oil through the plug until it reaches the lower edge of the bore of the plug. Allow the oil to settle for a few minutes and then recheck the level. Check the seal of the plug and replace if necessary. Fit the plug and torque tighten. Checking drum oil level and drain plug. To drain oil, ensure that the drain plug located on the right-hand side is positioned at the bottom of the drum. Place a container of suitable size beneath the plug to catch the oil. Remove the plug. Move the machine so that the drain plug is positioned at the top of the drum. Fill with recommended oil through the plug. Do not overfill the vibration housing with oil. Clean and refit the plug. To refill, ensure that the drain plug located on the right-hand side is positioned at the top of the drum. Fuse box location. The fuses for the machine are located in the panel below the operator's seat on the left-hand side. Before changing the fuse, switch off the ignition switch. The electrical circuits are protected by fuses. If a fuse ruptures, find out why and rectify the fault before fitting a new one. Towing a disabled machine. If the machine becomes disabled, the machine can be prepared to be towed for a short distance only. To prepare the machine for towing, first set the drive level in neutral position. Attach the drag wire to a suitable location. Ensure that the articulation lock is disengaged. Set the towing valve to the towing position. To turn the valve, it is necessary to remove the valve handle and rotate the lock plate, then reinstall the handle. Loosen the lock nut and screw in the bypass screws of the multi-purpose function valve as far as possible. Disengage the parking brake by actuating the hand pump located to the rear of the fuel fill tube. This will build up enough hydraulic pressure to release the brake. With the ignition key switched on, you will be able to see the brake light in the instrument cluster turned off. The machine is ready for towing. After you have finished towing, set the towing valve to the right position. Remember to remove the valve handle and return the lock plate on the square to the original position to avoid an unintended actuation of towing valve. Unscrew the two bypass screws as far as they can go.